Have you ever been rejected? A harsh no, a door slammed shut right in your face, leaving you feeling like all hope just vanished in an instant. But pause for a moment. What if that very door, that seemingly terrible moment, was actually the best thing that ever happened to you? The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Reject your sense of injury, and the injury itself disappears." Maybe rejection doesn't come to break you, it comes to lift you to a higher level. Today, we're embarking on a very different kind of journey, turning rejection into a force for growth through 13 powerful practical lessons. Lessons not just from philosophy, but from real life, from failures, stumbles, and quiet resilience. So if you've ever felt forgotten, ignored, or underappreciated, this video is for you. Hit that like button, turn on the notification bell, not just so you don't miss what's next, but so this message can reach someone out there who's also holding on for a bit of hope. Let's begin, because maybe, just maybe, yesterday's rejection is the beginning of the strongest version of you. You know, sometimes the most powerful response is no response at all. There are people who will ignore you, look past you, treat you like you don't even exist. But you don't have to chase them. You don't have to beg or explain. Instead, come back to yourself. Focus on your goals, your passions, and everything that makes you feel fully alive. Read a book, learn a new skill, or simply take a walk in the evening sun and remind yourself, life goes on, with or without them. Marcus Aurelius also said, your value doesn't come from how others see you, it comes from how you see yourself. And that's true. If someone doesn't value your time and energy, that's their loss, not yours. So the next time you feel abandoned, don't react with hurt. React by living better than ever before. Have you ever felt hurt simply because someone ignored you or didn't return the kindness you gave them? Our first instinct is often anger, sadness, or worse, seeking validation from the very person who caused the pain. But you know what? Sometimes true strength lies in calmness. Instead of reacting emotionally, learn to stand still and smile. Not because you're weak, but because you've grown. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, once said, "We are not harmed by events, but by how we perceive them." And he was right. You don't need to overreact to prove your worth. Respond with kindness, without expecting anything in return, and you'll feel a quiet peace rising within you. Just remember, your emotions belong to you. Don't let others control them. That is the highest form of inner freedom. You know, sometimes people leave our lives, but they keep living in our minds every single day. We replay their words, the feeling of rejection, the moments of being dismissed, and that is what truly holds us back. This is when you need one powerful thing: letting go. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means freeing yourself from replaying the pain on a loop. When you keep thinking about someone who hurt you, you're giving them the most precious space of all, your mind. So replace them with something better. Surround yourself with people who believe in you, who inspire you, who grow with you. Think of your mind like a garden. If you want something beautiful to grow, you've got to pull out the weeds. And remember this, you deserve a peaceful mind, not one crowded by sorrow, but a space where the seeds of a better future can begin to grow. You don't have to say much to prove your worth. Let your actions speak. When someone rejects you, don't take it as a downgrade. See it as a wise redirection from the universe. You weren't chosen? Maybe it's because you were meant for something greater. They didn't see your potential? That's okay. It doesn't mean you don't have it. Sometimes being overlooked is actually the opportunity to focus fully on your own path, one where you don't need approval, only commitment. So act. Build something that matters. Create results that make others pause and say, "How did I not see this before?" Just like fire hidden deep in the coal, your value may not be visible at first until you ignite on your own. And by then, you'll realize you don't need to prove anything because your presence already says it all. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is nothing at all. No more texts, no more calls, no more excuses to keep holding on, just silence. And in that silence, there is power. You're saying, "I deserve peace. I don't need to beg for it." Cutting contact isn't a mind game. It isn't anger, it's awareness. A conscious act of reclaiming space for healing, for balance, and most of all, for growth. You can't heal in the same place that broke you. So respect your feelings enough to take a step back. Not because you're weak, but because you've matured enough to understand sometimes distance is a form of love for yourself. Have you ever been told you're not good enough or you'll never make it? Those words can hurt, but here's the best part. You don't need to argue. You just keep moving forward and let your results do the talking. Rejection, when used the right way, becomes fuel for transformation. Every no you receive today could be the step that lifts you toward a stronger version of yourself tomorrow. I once met a man who was fired from his very first job. He didn't complain. He didn't lash out. He quietly learned new skills, rebuilt himself from the ground up, and a few years later, the same company invited him back, this time as a manager. Remember, you don't need to shout to prove your worth. Just grow, quietly, steadily, like a river that carves stone. And one day, your success will be the answer no one can deny. After rejection, what do you usually do? Sit at home, replay painful words over and over? If that's your pattern, today I want to invite you to do the opposite. Go out and live. It might sound simple, but choosing joy after rejection is an act of radical defiance. It's your way of saying, I'm not defined by who rejected me. I'm defined by how I choose to live next. Try something new. Reconnect with an old friend. Spend time in nature. Or simply sit at your favorite cafe, sip your coffee and smile, because you're still here. You're still living. You're still moving forward. Joy doesn't just heal, it reminds you who you are. And the world out there is still so much bigger than any rejection you've faced. So live boldly, because no one and nothing deserves to take away that light inside you. When people get rejected, most tend to shrink back and hide. But in truth, that's exactly when you should step forward and start building your social presence stronger than ever. Think about it. The most influential people in the world weren't recognized right away. They were the ones who kept growing, both inside and out. They trained their bodies, joined community efforts, learned new skills, and connected with others who shared the same values. Every time you step outside your comfort zone, you're upgrading the social version of yourself. You become someone who shows up in others' lives in positive, meaningful ways. Remember this, social presence isn't about status. It's about the value you bring. And that value, it starts with one simple thing, investing deeply in yourself. There are people, no matter how much effort you give, who will still never truly see you. And at some point, you need to learn this. Act as if they no longer exist in your inner world. That doesn't mean being bitter or unprofessional. In fact, you remain kind, respectful, and civil if needed. But deep inside, you've withdrawn all emotional investment. Why? Because your emotions are your most valuable asset, and knowing when to pull back isn't weakness. It's the wisdom of someone who's grown. Redirect that energy toward mutual relationships with people who genuinely see you and respect you. You don't need to fight. You don't need to prove a point. Just reclaim your energy and channel it toward yourself. That is where your real power lives. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is stay silent. Not because you have nothing to say, but because you no longer feel the need to explain, defend, or prove yourself to anyone. Silence, when it comes from someone who knows their worth, is not weakness. It's a sign of strength and deep self-respect. When someone ignores you, disrespects you, or treats you unfairly, you have every right to respond. But ask yourself this, what best serves my inner peace? And more often than not, the answer is no reaction at all. Instead of wasting energy on arguments, use that quiet space to go inward, to grow, read a good book, exercise, spend time with people who inspire you. Silence doesn't mean surrender. It means you've chosen to invest in something more valuable, yourself. You don't need to shout to be noticed, and you definitely don't need to trade your dignity just to keep someone in your life. True happiness doesn't come from being seen by others. It comes from within, from how you treat yourself every single day. If you're constantly seeking validation, approval, or applause, you'll always be at the mercy of other people's moods. But when you place your self-worth above anyone's opinion, you become free. You no longer try to be liked. You simply live with truth, depth, and authenticity. Ask yourself, am I living to please others? Or am I living according to what I believe is right? And if your answer is the latter, then congratulations. You've just taken a bold step toward true freedom and unshakable self-worth. You can be kind without letting anyone cross your boundaries. There's a common misunderstanding that kindness equals weakness. But the truth is, kindness is a choice, and keeping emotional distance is an act of courageous self-protection. You can still say hello, smile, even help when needed, but you also keep just enough distance to avoid being dragged into someone else's chaos. Not everyone deserves intimacy, and not everyone who's distant needs to be fixed. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is step back in silence, preserve mutual respect, and prioritize your mental well-being. So love, but never forget to love yourself first. When we're hurt, our natural reaction is to share it, to seek someone who understands, to want someone on our side. But sometimes, what you truly need is not someone to listen, but the calm strength to stand on your own. Not every pain needs to be made public. Not every emotion needs to be exposed to the world, because some wounds are meant to be healed in silence, through resilience and the quiet power that lives within you. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have the power to not say a word, not react at all, and still keep your dignity." That is the highest level of emotional control. Choose to keep a part of your pain private, not because you're hiding it, but because you're training yourself to grow stronger, day by day. You don't need an audience to witness your struggle when you yourself are already the living proof of everything you've overcome. You can't always avoid rejection in life, but you always have the power to choose how you respond. That's the essence of Stoic philosophy. You can't control external events, but you can absolutely master yourself. The philosopher Seneca once emphasized, "A wise person always prepares for the worst." He didn't hope for life to go smoothly. He prepared his mind to face any storm. Because when you stop being surprised by adversity, you stop being shaken by it. Remember this, rejection doesn't diminish you, it reveals your strength. Every rejection is an opportunity to reflect, to grow, and to move forward with a stronger heart. So don't resist rejection. Understand it, learn from it, and ultimately, rise because of it. That's how wise souls grow, bit by bit, setback by setback, into something unshakably powerful.